everything I write, I have to play to a director or producer and they often will have to approve the music before the budget is released to record. So it's essential that virtual instruments and samples are good enough to actually sell the ideas, and therefore, even if they're going to be replaced in the end, the better your mock-ups sound, the more likely you are to impress the powers that be and get the score finished. The instruments have to have a lot of character. They've got to be inspiring. There's quite often a very large amount of music to write, and so anything that can give you that slight bit of inspiration or something to actually get an idea flowing is of the utmost importance. So I really look for instruments that are slightly unusual, something with lots of character. It really depends on budgets, so that and what you want to achieve. So that if you have a limited budget and the samples can act as in a supporting role to sort of pad out and make your one violin sound like 50, or in some cases you will just need your one violin and the other samples are there as just as textures or synths or something that's going to be samples for sample's sake. Well, I find that often when I'm writing, I'm looking for things that will act like a piano, but is somehow different, has a different character, but you have something that can very simply articulate a melody and harmony at the same time, but it's kind of boring to always go back to same piano sound. And so I'm often looking for things that have certain a kind of attack, stay and release that has an organic sound that maybe you haven't heard before. And so with the harp library, we're trying to achieve a range of new sounds, basically, that can do that job. Well, I have a bunch of pedals and toys and tricks that I process things through, but I love libraries where it feels like you get some of inspiration the second you open it. Straight out of the box, you start playing and it gives you an idea. And I think that you can spend a long time sending signals out to another room, reamping, sending them back again. But I think that within what we were hoping to do with the harp library is create something that feels like you've got a certain amount of that legwork is taken care of already, and you have instantly inspiring sort of pads and patches that get you going. And I think that the other thing was, I was very keen for this not to sound just like any other straight harp library. It has to have a real character, and I think there are definitely patches on it that people will have never heard the harp sounding the same before. There's quite a few ways where, or quite a few techniques that we went through when recording. For example, we were e-bowing the harp, and we were actually using a cello bow on it and that kind of thing. And it's very tricky to do. You have to sort of damp half of the strings while you're bowing one of them, and so it would be completely impossible to play in any kind of live situation unless you had sort of 46 people with each with a bow in a beautifully coordinated piece of orchestration. But and this is what makes sampling so interesting and so useful, is that we created these sort of hyper-real instruments, and you're playing them. They are organic sounding, but completely impossible for one human to play on a harp, and that's part of the fun. There is a aesthetic within Spitfire's work where there is a desire to capture character rather than just a absolutely pristine recording of a pure instrument. It's a part about trying to capture just an essence of a performance within the samples. I don't think this is like any harp library that I've ever come across before. There's kind of distortion, fuzz boxes, huge sort of blooming reverbs, and I think it's going to be quite a unique sounding group of sounds when it's finished. Well, I suppose I'm always looking for unique sounds, sounds that haven't been heard before, but you also, it's great to have instruments where you can explore melodic ideas, and it's not just sound design, it's not completely obscure sounds. They sound vaguely familiar or that they've grown from somewhere, but it's not like anything that you can put your finger on and say, oh, that's what it is. And I think with this library, it'll be great to hear what people do with it. Yes, I mean, I've had this this harp for pretty much all my life. It's much older than me, and it's been around. I think I'm the third person to have owned it, but it's just a crazy idea to think that now there'll be all sorts of people all over the place playing it, and yeah, it'll just be I'll be fascinated to see what comes back. The amazing thing about the harp obviously is how well it cuts through, so that if you go and see an orchestra live and you see the ranks of the strings, and then the solo harp is sitting in the corner of the room, but it does really project its weight across the room, and I think that that gives it a versatility. So you can have something that's sort of bubbling away in a textural capacity at one moment, and then can really sing out when it needs to be pushed. And that can be in the tiniest subtlety of how you'd spread a chord, or what range you're playing in context with everything else. I think that my favourite patches and pads to come out of the library are all the drones and blooms and that kind of thing, because that's something that's really unique. I've never heard a harp library where you can use it as a drone before. I'm doing a ITV drama series at the moment, and it's set in Paris in the 50s, and no doubt it will have a certain amount of this harp library on it as soon as I can get my hands on it.